So, yeah, I mean, you could say, well, Terry Francona played it by the book, right? You want righties facing righties, except Taylor Rogers, a pretty significant offseason addition, right? Like, this isn't one of those, mid-2010 Reds relievers that either like this Kevin Gregg kind of profile that we would always see the Reds go get these dudes who used to be good but aren't good anymore, hanging on for one final big league paycheck. Like, Taylor Rogers is not young. He's 34 years old, which in baseball terms is up there. But Taylor Rogers is a guy who pitched in a ton of games last season for the San Francisco Giants, 64 of them. This is a guy who's been around for a long time. This is a guy who's closed games. This is a guy with 83 big league saves. Big acquisition this offseason. Who's good against righties? And the first option, Terry Francona in the ninth inning, not Taylor Rogers, not one of the key additions this offseason, but a guy who spent most of February and March doing everything he can to be the 26th guy, or at least the last guy in the bullpen. The Reds loved Ian Gibaut so much, they went from non-tendering him to having him try to close out the game on opening day. That's only something you do if your other bullpen options aren't very good. If they don't trust Taylor Rogers in that situation, what does that say about Taylor Rogers? So I understand this. And by the way, our phone numbers are 513-749-1530 and 866-702-3776. I often defend managers, and to a degree I'll acknowledge this with Terry Francona. Like, if a dude is on the team, the manager's going to use him. Like, Ian Gibaut did not make the team to only pitch in like 9-0 games in the fourth inning. He's not only on the team to pitch in mop-up situations. If a guy makes the club, the idea should be you use him in any number of situations. And so, like, if you give, I used to say this about some of the options David Bell have, right? If you give Terry Francona Ian Gibaut, Terry Francona is going to use Ian Gibaut, and he's going to use him in high-leverage situations. There aren't just high-leverage situations in the ninth inning. There were high-leverage situations all afternoon yesterday, in large part because the Reds stopped hitting after the third inning. So if you give Terry Francona Ian Gibaut, he's going to use Ian Gibaut. But just ask yourself this. In the other dugout, in the San Francisco dugout, Bob Melvin is the manager, who's managed like 16 different teams. Bob Melvin, if you were to say in that moment, if you were to sneak in the San Francisco dugout, number one, they would ask, how did you get here? Number two, you would go and reach your hand into the big bucket of bubble gum they have. Number three, you would ask Bob Melvin, hey, who do you want the other guy to bring in? Who do you want Tito in the other dugout to bring in? Would you like your team to see Taylor Rogers or Ian Gibaut? I would bet you that Bob Melvin would go, can we take our chances against Ian Gibaut?